Hello there, everybody, and welcome to a summer edition of Kane Fan 701 streaming of 2024. Now, I do have to apologize in advance that I've actually have not been streaming too much because I've literally had to come out of an amazing, emotional week because, well, a bit of history moments for me in my personal life had unfolded. Well, number one is because I actually had just come back from the RMS Titanic Birmingham expedition from the NAC, which has been going on all through the summer, which was an amazing and emotional event to go to because I've discovered that Birmingham had some ties with the RMS Titanic and the sinking of the unfolding as it happened. And of course, meeting up with some more people and fans who, really took a liking interest of my cosplay, and of course with my knowledge of the Titanic, but also the fact was it would just bring the community together. And quite honestly, I've been enjoying summer 2024, and it has been an absolute burning hot week. Some of the hottest we've had in a long time. A couple of weeks back, it was like 25 degrees or something like that. And now we've been hitting 26 to 27 to 28 and very close to the 30-degree Fahrenheit in terms of the heat itself, because now it's even more blistering hot than it was the last time. Now, you're probably wondering why I sound like the way I do. I do feel a little bit cloggy in the throat. It's because the absolute intense heat, and of course, it's humid out there and the air is quite sticky. And of course, it's also getting a bit dry as well, so I have to on occasions drink lots of fluids to keep my vocal cords going in action like the way you like me to go them about. But this streaming is not kind of the usual, discussions like I usually have with you guys, which you always tend to enjoy and want to pop in and have any discussions and talk about some good stuff or reminiscing or anything else I would have done in the past regarding the Thomas fandom, with the whole thing regarding the 311 movie and the Timothy films, and of course the exchanging interests we have regarding Star Wars, anime, Thomas, Disney, and so forth. Now, today's stream is going to be a little bit different. This is more kind of a stream reaction, as you can see in the title, to the Nebraska teen who was accused of derailing a rail train just for the sake of fun for a YouTube viral video. Now, you're probably thinking, I think I know what this guy's talking about. We have seen it. But you might be thinking, what would my reaction be about it? Well, it may not be too different to what everybody else is either, because I just want to give a quick shout out to two users who actually found this for me that I realized, and I couldn't help but check it out because of my curiosity. I'd like to give a shout out to August the Duck, and of course, History in the Dark, who is an amazing YouTube user. And of course, he's very, very talented with what he does by talking about history regarding the railways, as well as the deadly stuff of Mother Nature regarding tornadoes and hurricanes and whatnot. And again, guys, like I said, this is going to be quite an intriguing one. And you might hear me talk a bit about, what do you think of my opinions about this? And of course, what I'm going to play on, you might be end up scratching your heads in total confusion, because this is not technically what I would normally tend to do. But everybody else has been doing reaction videos and the discussions about this, and the YouTube user in question who did this derailment, all because of the sake of capturing an insane video to go viral to be famous for all the wrong reasons, has become quite a main subject of debate in railroad fanning history at the moment. And it is something that is raising big concerns on my behalf, because I do love railroading and I like it when people have the same history interest and absolute love for the railroads, and they do their thing, of filming trains or taking photographs, or just watching from a safe distance and not to be trespassing, because it is wrong and it can be a crime to actually trespass. And of course, if no one heeds the warnings, you can get slapped with a fine or face something even worse. Now, in question, I'm just going to put my share screen up here at this point, because I will be reacting as we go along with this, because this is going to be quite the intriguing thing to see. Now, here we go, and I'm just going to get this thing sorted out, get the volume in so you can hear my voice over the reaction as we go along. Now, like I said before, this is going to be, this is going to be quite an intriguing thing. And like I said, this isn't the only time we see people, who have a brush with death with the railroads, because it happens everywhere. But the most disturbing ones are happening mostly in the United States. And this is again raising my level of railroading concern for all of you Americans and Canadians out there who may not heed the warnings seriously. I mean, I know we have it in Britain as well, which is just as deluded as ever. But this is actually something that's becoming too common and raises serious concerns of rail safety. And of course, it's not been that long since that thing happened in Mexico when Canadian locomotive, wherever it was, that went down and killed and took someone's life. It's only a matter of time before somebody else ends up having the same problem. But this YouTuber in question, who has not been identified, because, we don't know the back history or whatnot, who this dude will be, does raise levels of serious concerns and perhaps other things that could be a big threat to railroading history. And of course, American acts need to act quickly before other users get in contact with the railroads and cause utter havoc or stage railroading derailments just for the sake of catching their few minutes of fame. Now, I do again want to stress this out. I do feel, like I said before, I'm very croaked and a bit dry in the throat because it is absolutely bloody hot over here. That's why I'm just taking a quick gallon of water here just to clear my throat out, because it is absolutely unbelievably hot. I'm telling you, you've got to keep cool and everything, otherwise I'm going to get dehydrated. Much better. Okay, now where was I? Oh yes. Now let's get the share screen in, and for those of you who can't hear this, put your headsets in, or if you want to hear this on your mobile phone link, it's a-okay. Yes, Cresswell, I can tell the Canadian engine that went to Mexico has been found back. Oh, okay. That's intriguing. Now let's see what we got and see where we go. Right. Okay, share screen's up in place. Now let's see what happens. Now, if anybody's intrigued about this, if any of you guys want to pop in, I will actually be more than happy to, hang on. I'll be more than happy to give you the link and I'll put you guys in the chat box. And if you want your opinions along with my own, feel free to pop on board, because sometimes talking this about myself, on my own at this can be very drainsome. So let's get back to the share screening and let's see what we got. And again, I will be reacting as we go along. And if anybody again wants to react with me as we go along or express your opinions about this, you can as we go along. So, according to what we've seen with this videoing so far, which has been going completely insane, for those of you who want to view the video for yourself, I have left a link in the description box for you so that you can see it for your own opinion rather than just watching it here on the live stream with me. I am good. It's just the fact is I am absolutely dry in the throat. I am keeping myself, as far as I can. Oh, Mr. Barkin has popped in, and long time no see, my friend. Hey, Barkin, I saw you pop in briefly with your little face reveal, so I knew that was you. Welcome aboard on the streaming here. Now, you're probably thinking, what the heck is going on about this? It's about this apparent BNSF Harbor colliding video, which you may have heard about, which went viral. And the user in question, who was 17, basically had staged all this just because he could get his own moments of fame, which does, in fact, make me concerned. And, of course, really has my opinions of, of what rail safety needs to be upgraded. And, to reinforce people who want to film where they should have more, closer inspection, and of course, you know what I'm going to get at here. Because all of this has reminded me of another railroad fan, who had almost staged a derailment, but much worse. Hey, Brian Gunn, you can actually reply back if you need to, mate.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what to say, Like, I get, you have your own model railway, you want to derail it, cause an accident there. That's fine. But he could have killed somebody.
Yes, he did. Here's the actual footage. If any of you guys want to see the actual footage, go on the link on your describe. But this is the individual, quote unquote, and this must be his channel. I think it is. I may be wrong, but these comments might tell you otherwise. So, any cases, this is exactly what we're seeing, and everybody else has been showing what's been going on. And any cases, at first glance, now at first glance, at first I thought it was. That was until I found out later on. And these stupid ads apparently just popping in for no reason. Oh, or maybe it's not an ad. Oh, this is done prior to it. Okay, then. So let's go and rephrase that. So when you listen to this dude, whoever the hell his name is, his narration in this sounds absolutely dorky and absolute complete nut jobbed. And of course, worst of it, it sounds like he's somebody who knows nothing of rail safety and like your typical toxic, idiotic rail fan who knows nothing. And of course, like modern day society with people who have no brains and think it's just fun to cause, utter insane just for your 15 minutes of fame. Now, this is not the first time we've seen this happen, but this to me, if you get my opinion, is probably the most disgusting, dangerous, and sickening of it all because just listen to the rating and it just makes you want to vomit in a sick bag. If anybody else pops in, they're more than welcome to. I have left a link in the description for you guys. So, and this is what it goes into. Set the stage. That does not already sound good at all. That's your first red flag. If you set the stage, then this dude knew exactly what he was going to do, and of course, endangering the lives of those on board the trains, and of course, the railroad public safety as well. That's your first major red flag. Okay, he's telling the location and where it's actually happening. That bit is true, but I don't buy into the rest of what he's actually saying. Neglectfully reset it to its original position. Dude, from what we were further told, CCTV or whatever it was that we say here in the UK caught you lurking around the yard and actually misthrottling with the lever switch, and of course attempting railway sabotage, if not railway murder.
On a lighter note, I got a Smarter Rail video fan picture ready set up. That's
Indeed.
how unintelligent he is. I think this guy's smarter.
Oh, okay, Brian, I know you're kind of deviating a little bit, but I see you got a Lego version from SpongeBob there holding up an old school rail cam. Oh, Jesus.
Well, I figured, if anybody's going to be smarter when filming, it'd probably be Patrick.
Indeed, it would be Patrick from SpongeBob, but I don't think even our Squid Dude would do that. Who knows? Even Batman would be more smart enough to catch somebody in the act. Oh,
Well,
wait.
actually, there's a whole SpongeBob episode where Patrick went to a train convention.
I see.
Yeah.
Tommy Trains has also popped in, and what a pleasure for him to pop in too. So if he wants to pop in as well, you can do, mate. The link's above somewhere, and you can have your reactions as well. As a matter of fact, I would actually present the link again if you need to. So here you go, pal. In you go, mate. Again, it's been a long time that you've been in too. So again, you can. Conductor Bro fan, you need to come in if you'd like to as well. And Optimus Train, there's no need for saying when will Timothy be. Don't say a word that's very offensive there because that ain't gonna happen, dude. And okay, Sims in. Conductor free, just double checking if it's the right person. Let's bring you in. Hello, Mr. Conductor Brayfine. It's been a long while, a very, very,
Yeah,
very long while, and I'm glad to hear that you came back into my life and bringing me back into the surgery thing on the Discord thing. I really appreciate that, and you have no idea how much that meant to me. I literally had tears in my eyes when you brought me back in.
agreed.
I don't know what made you want to do it, but I could tell that all the other lads were happy to have me back.
Honestly, I guess I haven't seen you in a while. And what happened with that train crash? It's not funny. It's
Oh,
terrible.
well, this is the whole video in its entirety. If you want to watch it on your own, I actually have left a link in the description box. But this is my reaction stream with you guys along as we go along because, like I said before in the beginning, my throat is a bit clogged and
Sure.
burnt up a bit because it's boiling hot over here. So I'll have some of you guys as well reacting as we go along.
That's understandable.
Wait, the switch was still set incorrectly. Dude, you don't even hear yourself talk, mate. You don't even know the shit that you did. And of course, endangering those on the train and could have killed them. That is
Yeah,
literally railroad trespass slash murder attempt. And of
yeah,
course, the CCTV, which we're being told, actually did capture him wandering around. And hopefully, if we do get shown, may have seen him misinterpreting with the switch and causing this derailment to happen, literally setting up the chain of events as if it was done by human negligence.
yeah. It's like there. It could be many factors, you know.
A deafening crash. Dude, over dramatic. I've seen the footage and it didn't look like it had been fallen over or whatever the case may be. Literally, it's not like Henry and the Flying Kipper or James crashing into the tar wagons or Duck crashing into the station master's shaving house. Dude, I don't know what side of the bed you woke up on, or if you took some illegal substance, or if your brain is so completely fucked up, or whatever the case may be. I do apologize for the language there, lads. But the fact of the matter is, this is just me being completely honest in what I think about it from an absolute railway fan point of view, and of course, how disgusted I feel on the inside about it.
Yeah, and I plan on heading to the Huckleberry Railroad this weekend. You know.
Wait, shaking shockwave. Wait. He just said shaking shockwaves across a small town community. Again, over drama react. There was nothing shockwaving about it, you stupid rail turb.
Well, the
And
real actual crash that happened with where the E2 hit the station master's house, that was actually kind of funny because
that
nobody
is
was in the house at the time.
that is true, but at the same time, it's nothing to laugh about if it happened for reality. I mean, just think if Thomas crashed into your house while you're having breakfast in the morning, that would
But
be absolute heart attack
yeah,
panic.
well, no, the real story was that an E2 hit the station master's house when nobody was home, and when he
Oh,
saw it, he nearly had a heart attack.
indeed.
Yeah.
Yep. But still, though, again, if it were the other way around, it would definitely not be funny. But still, it would be disastrous, especially if it was a high speed engine like Golden crashing in. Just as you
Yeah.
mentioned that would be
Kirk
utter
Ronan.
disastrous.
Kirk Ronan reference.
Wait, despite the chaos and that, oh god, this guy, I don't know who this dude is in person, but we know he's 17 years of age. I don't know exactly if he knows what he was doing in terms of being a rail fan, but it clearly shows he's doing what all rail fans do, filming and watching trains going by. But to set the stage for something like this and tampering with rail stuff like this, and we've seen us
It's
do it,
highly
it does,
illegal and dangerous.
it's highly illegal and criminality, and of course, rail attempt murdering. The fact of the matter is, it's all done that he wanted for some insane footage to make it go viral, and this guy in question has basically made himself famous for the wrong reasons. Now, I don't really give a damn or care if this guy has fantasy issues with rail trafficking, or the fact is that he has a very mental illness thing. that does not mean shit. This individual was a danger to the railroad public, railroad transportation, and I do believe that severe ruling to railroad safety needs to be upgraded big time in the United States, because sometimes in life, the railroads is not always a fun place to be at.
It's actually a miserable place to be at if you work at.
It can be, but it can be enjoyable for rail fans. But like I said,
And my dad worked at a railroad for many years.
But like I said before, the railroading is not always glamour, and it's not always a fun place to be. It is tough when you want to work on it, but it is one of the most exciting things that can really stir the adrenaline up, because railroads play a part in our, transportations, regardless of what nationality we're in. Dude, that makes no other railway sensing. You in person are the one who caused all this, you knew what you were doing, and you're just coming off like as if somebody else had done it instead of yourself. That is totally human neglect and, of course, narcissism, and something that apparently is just pure batshit crazy and someone who's high on keth or meth or whatever the case may be. Now, I know I'm talking a lot of ranting here, but this is just me, okay? Because obviously it can be entertaining, when I go off like this, but this is me just literally just stating my opinion and thoughts and how disgusting and how insulting it is. I mean, for those of you who are maybe watching this as well, who've seen it as well, you must have thought the exact same thing. Now, again, I want to have a quick shout out to August the Duck and, of course, History in the Dark for bringing this up. And, of course, it literally, if it wasn't for those two users, I wouldn't have discovered this a few days ago, and I wouldn't be doing this anyway. So props to those two guys anyways, because they're really, really good. But it does raise the level of what will happen for rail fanning in the future, because personally, rail fanning could be on the brink of being forever banned because of the stupid stuff that's been going on, especially what's going in America and in the UK and other parts, where people just do not have common sense, lost their thoughts of safety regulationing, and might be thinking it's cool to get too close when basically it's almost asking for trouble or wanting to commit something so heinous and so horrible that it makes you feel like you do not want to go back to railroading ever again, or to become a rail fan or anything else. Now, I legitimately don't know who this guy's parents might be thinking, but if they saw this and found out, they would have mixed reactions of what we think of the public, but they must absolutely be pissed the F off with their own son for doing this, because clearly this was all done in the wrong. It was a disaster waiting to happen because he staged this whole thing. But, we're still getting...
with Mr. Beast, he staged that crash too, but, at least he took safety precautions, and he was only destroying his own stuff. But this guy...
What? Did you hear that? He said, sit back and relax. What?
The heck is that for? Sorry, my microphone was unplugged.
That's okay. Did you just heard that there for a second? He said, sit back and relax, enjoy the video. And I'm like, what?
That's just wrong, man.
Just let me replay that back for a second. And listen to how he goes about it. That is literally batshit insane.
I can't even hear the audio.
What? You can't hear the audio?
No, I can't.
This is for all people listening.
Whoop.
If you are doing something like this, don't even think about it. It's criminal negligence. You'll get arrested.
He has.
And if the locomotive does hit you, I won't even feel slightly sorry for you.
He did got arrested.
Okay, here we go. Got it.
Yeah. I don't think if this guy would have gotten hit, I don't think any of us would have felt sorry for him. What do you think?
Well, he's way out of harm's view. If he was on the tracks getting hit, definitely. It's like you're inviting death at your own purpose. I think I need to rephrase this back because you guys never heard the audio. So let me just rephrase it back so some of you guys can actually hear this. Let's rephrase it back a little. This is the beginning of it, just after it happened. Now I will give the guy some sick props because I know he edited it all out and put it on, but the truth behind it all is just sick in the head. Like I said before, this is total rail fan bullshit if I ever heard of it. Now again,
Evil. I'm sorry.
What kind of
Look,
world are we living
yeah,
in?
I know I'm going a little ranty here, but that's just me. Because most rail fans of the day, even if those who are good like us end up going down the wrong direction and just, put all common sense aside and just think they're above everything else and just stupidly do childish, immature behavior, or they know what they're doing but don't really give a shit about it, then you obviously are inviting your own demise, or basically wanting to become a rail criminal. Now, this definitely is a classic thing that's going to happen, and I do raise serious concerns about this. And I know for a fact, we all know the boys in blue, the police can do so much. But if they ever started incorporating police railroad fanning on the tracks, if you know what I'm referring to, that would be something that would help cut down on bad people who were like breaking the rules of railway trespassing and also rail criminality.
Agreed. And Thunderbird Studios 76, he made a video about it. With Fergus.
Yeah, I've actually heard about it, but I will have to read what I've heard about the video, but I will watch that at a later time. But if anybody wants to send me that, just send me the link in the private chat or whatever, and I'll get a look at it later on.
I'm already on it.
Hey there, Tommy Trains. Again, it's nice to see you. It's been a long, long time since I last saw you, so welcome back.
Thank you very much. I was quite busy with college, and of course, most likely I'm doing an adaptation of The Adventures of Thomas as the film that had been released by Derek Smith's video, that is.
Indeed. Again, conductor, it's really good that you brought me back in. Like I said about being a member of the Sudrin Fliv, whatever it was called on the Discord thing.
Squad, actually. Yeah. Also, I don't know about. This is about Shine Ortez, but I just hope she's okay.
Ms. Ortez, as I call her nowadays, because I know for a fact. Look, I know we had. Look, I know I'm not supposed to talk about it too much on my streams nowadays because of the past drama we've had. I have no bad blood with Ortez, and I never have done. I just want everything to be like put under the bridge, and the stuff he's going through now, it was uncalled for. But I will have to say I've had my piece, and of course I hope she's doing okay. But I do remember that she took like the same shot by shots based on my film on Kurt Roman, which she did on the Discord servering, which I thought was actually good, but I wasn't sure if it was a mockery or something just to get my attention or whatever the case may be. But that doesn't really bother me. But I just want to know what she might have thought about it, because obviously Miss Ortez had a transgender thing problem, and the results were like all done by some people who didn't like it. But I was very neutral about that decision, and I still do not judge Shine's the choice for that. If that's what he wanted to do, that's completely up to what he did, and it went through without a hitch. But since then, total silence. Nothing's happened. And look, I'll talk about this at another time. But here is not the place about it. Okay.
Sorry.
But like I said before, all I will say is briefly is that me and Ortez have no more bad blood. And to be quite honest, I will never say I ever had any. The fact is, it's just that it's all sorted with. I've progressed on after my own issues with my personal life that have put me through the loops I've had to go through. Yeah. But if you want to know more about it, just I think it's best if you speak with Brandon, aka Jesus, about it, because he knows more about it than I ever did, because obviously he's been there for the ride with me about it.
Oh, wow.
I don't want to drag him into anything because he's been through drama BS himself the same time as I did. But either ways, back to the real thing anyways.
Yeah, Glenn, sorry to interrupt, but I gotta get back to work.
Okay.
That's all right, Brian. It's good to have you back in, and at least you got your thoughts in there too, so you can get going. But if you want to pop back in at some point, you're more than welcome to.
Nice meeting you, Brian.
Nice meeting you.
Yep.
Nice to meet you too, bro.
And
anyways, back to the whole thing that we're really supposed to be talking about. We got sidetracked there, ladies and gentlemen, but that does tend to happen on my streams a lot. So for those of you who are not experienced about it, you got to get used to that. In any cases, this whole BSF harboring collides and derails this insane video of railway criminality reminds me so much, and everybody else in the comments will tell you, it reminds a lot of us about another rail fan who is even underage than this two individual, Sebastian Young, the rail fan who knew flipped a switch, who was messing with a mainline switching and was railway trespassing was just as bad. But this takes the cake in a much more dire way. Now, I'm sure you guys might be familiar with that name because Sebastian Young is
Hmm.
a ludicrous, delusional idiot fan who doesn't even know what the hell he's doing. And yet, you know, even he's been trespassing and had some chaos on the railroads and could have caused serious collisions. Whereas this individual, whose name is not identified, who caused this BSF clash collision, did set it up, and all for the fact of getting some insane footage of going viral. And it has landed him in hot water. And he has been detained and arrested, and he's basically, being allocated for what he's done. But the whole thing is we don't know anything about who the dude is, what it looks like in question, or what he's done, what was the motivation, and this raises serious, serious questions. Like, we all know there's going to be questions before we can get any answers, and it makes me wonder the fate of railroad fanning for good in the US and in the UK. But it also makes me wonder, why would somebody make a channel and do this all for the sake of actually causing and staging an accident when you're clearly committing railroad criminality and, of course, potential railway murdering, and disregarding the lives of those who are actually at work, who are working for a wage, working for their lives because it's their livelihood. But at the same time, this also could raise serious doubts. If big steam engines were out on the main line and something like this would happen, that would totally be a mega, mega disaster for steam railroad fanning communities.
Yep.
Sorry
There we
about
go.
that again. My microphone was. Ugh.
It happens. Everybody else has the exact same thing. Oh, and even T-Crash has popped in. Okay, I don't think Sebastian does have common sense to normalize, but I don't know if he's still doing it still. By the way there, T-Crash, if you want to pop in too, man, come on board, because I know you got some good reaction to come in too.
I've been doing a bit of reaction videos recently, and I plan on doing a train spotting video this weekend in Flint, Michigan.
Well, hopefully it all turns
Crikey.
out for the best. I give you the best of luck for it.
Yeah, I'll probably make a video of it.
Well, hopefully you can get some good shots and good photography while you're there. Anyways, back to what I was going to say was, because you couldn't hear the audio, I've had to replay it back for you guys. Because obviously some of you couldn't hear what he was saying. This is going to sound absolutely ludicrous. I mean, I heard it before, but just replaying it back so you guys can hear can be a bit sickening. And for those of you viewers who have not seen this before, you're in for an absolute what the F moment and left scratching your heads. I mean, the guy in question in here who talks about this talks so dorkily, like he doesn't even know what the hell he's saying, as if he's been script writing this, and just the way how he goes about it, you can tell the red flags are in place. This is something that no rail fan should do or behave out when you're out there on the main line, especially when you're messing with railways such as the BNSF.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. I would like to take the time to set the stage for the fateful incident that we will be discussing today.
Wait, he actually said setting up the scenes and what had happened, so he clearly has admitted that he set the whole stage thing up. Major
To
red
think
flag
if it
number one.
being this setup, it's just due to him most likely how it was edited. It more looks like this is completely staged, not of the derailing, but the video that he set it up, as it makes it more triggering.
On Sunday, April 21st, just after 7 p.m., a empty Arbor coal train was heading back from the Nebraska City power plant. As it passed through Bennett, it had a defective coal car that it needed to be taken out of the train. The crew decides to place it in the rip track just inside of Bennett, going across the main road.
Okay, so he knows he's got his history of location because he obviously hangs in this area and has been trespassing on this place a lot. But still, this does not justify what he actually did do.
Between the grain elevator, and the main railroad crossing. The crew did this and set a switch in a manner that they can park the car, set up a portable derailleur, and then continue their journey. Unbeknownst to them, they completely neglected to reset the switch to its original position.
That's probably a
Dude,
lie.
Dude, that is not true.
That's a
The guy in
lie.
question actually was seen on CCTV messing with the whole switching, setting this whole stage to happen. So it's your neglection of basically, tampering with rail equipment that you shouldn't be messing with. This is basically setting up a rail murdering in the progress. Now, I know I keep saying that
Rude.
because it did have potential if it had been a lot worse.
Wait, was he trying to like fix the coal car switches like that?
No. He actually had been tampering with the whole thing so the train could actually crash into the whole thing so we could get the whole insane footage video he's ever taken.
Fucking little bastard.
Wednesday the 22nd.
Evil.
As I was driving home from work.
I mean, just listen to how the dude is actually talking. It's like he script read the whole thing and like basically talking like some real nut job. I'm telling
That's
you.
your ordinary YouTuber commentary. That's all shit like that.
Yes,
Some-
indeed. This is modern day rail fans who basically throw safety out of the window and they think it's all good just to stage some fun. Dude, it is not. I mean, the other videos who have done this as well, it's really gone crazy for the last 3 months, and we're only just finding out too. You can show this on anywhere else. Like August the Duck stages his opinions about it, and look at History in the Dark. Even he says opinions about it, and it's crazy batshit as you ever think.
Along Highway 2, there was a loaded arbor that I spotted. The train came into Bennett just after 6 p.m. Unbeknownst to the crew of the loaded arbor coal train, the switch was still set incorrectly.
Wait, the switch was still set incorrectly? Dude, that's you jumping your lines again. You obviously are neglecting your own guilt there, mate. You stay in that position.
Meanwhile, the park defective coal car remains stationary on its correct track as the loaded arbor speeds along its route. It hurtles towards the coal car, and with a deafening crash, the two trains collide.
Wait, a deafening crash? This is absolutely complete bullshit. The incident wasn't even caught on the crash, apparently, because if it had done, the train would have toppled on its side and flipped over. It would have been just like Henry in the Flying Kipper or James in the tar wagon crash at Merrin Station. This is basically over the top rope and basically just total rail BSing. Now, I'm trying my best not to sound like I'm being a bit all you-know-what here, but this is completely just, you know what I'm referring to. Like, it's just sickening, and it's just disgusting. I don't know who the heck Sainz is at the moment, saying he changed emails or whatever the fuck he's saying. I don't even remember who Sainz is. Dude, it may be so long, but I may not have remembered who you are because I've totally have lost track with everybody else. City Games, Oliver Good, playing City Games, Springs, Jesus Christ. Hey T-Crash, if you want to pop in, you can, instead of just putting in the chat, man, honestly. That is definitely a big true fact right there. And spotlights, indeed. That is just not right. That's a normalize. Oh God, normalizing? That's something new.
What does normalizing mean in a rail switching like that?
It doesn't do it on its own. There are some rail switchers who do it by hand. Not everything is all done by computers, you know.
Yeah, because most likely computer AI are complete bullshit as if they're so dumb that they don't know what we wanted.
Look, dude, it's just the fact is that the days, look, Amazon Track, I know you love my Timothy stuff and everything else, but it's completely been rebooted. I've said this like a broken record. My darker days on the Thomas stuff has just completely retired at this point because I've been rebooting and basically, just making it different because times are changing. I'm getting older in my life and I want my style to be an uplifting and restyle, and I've basically made Timothy a survivable character. And don't worry, he's not dead. I'm just rebooting him. So it's just going to be completely different. And everybody keeps asking me, oh, please tell us this, tell us that. that is just like, not insane by fans. I get it. My fan base like what I do, but they have to understand there's more to life than what I'm doing at this point because I am completely reformed and revamped it from what I've had to go through, especially when the Tom's community had cracked down during 2020 and since we've come out. But we have seen major improvements by the legends who have helped found it to make it more better. Whether with those who were falling in toxicity and drama and BS, all the guys who some of them who have become good have fallen and never returned. I, for
Mr.
one,
Ryan, unfortunately.
yes, Tommy Trains.
I said, like, unfortunately, Mr. Ryan has fallen due to burning all the scripts and taking all the money, being a scammer.
Who did?
Mr. Ryan, who is now Cosmic, who actually left.
Mr. Ryan. Mr. Ryan.
Ringing
That
any
does-
bells?
I'm-
Cosmic, the one individual who made the Henry movie.
You mean the Henry movie as in not the one with the blue track? It's not the one that was called Is It Worth It? Not that one, is it?
No, I don't think so. But it's pretty much the Henry movie he made. And
Oh,
apparently
that version of Henry. That version of Henry. Oh, the other one. Oh, yeah, that I remember that one, but I didn't know it was done by Mr. Ryan. Damn, so he just got caught with a scam, did he?
Pretty much most likely, but then he was going to be making three other movies which contain Edward, Gordon, and Thomas, but that never happened. And apparently, unfortunately, as of some days, he actually pretty much stated that he's not working on them as he just wanted to move on in life, said some negative shit about this fandom, and apparently most likely stated that he's going to burn the models that he spent all the money that people were spending on his Kickstarter since he has no idea, which then led to a heated up. Which, if you want to check it out from Diana Starr or even the other YouTuber Thomas Short, who actually discussed on that, and in that opinion, he fucking scammed everyone.
Well, if that's his way about wanting to move on, I can get that. That's typical. And about, if he said a lot of BS about the fandom, well, you can't quite blame him because of how it's been lately, because we all have had opinions about it. Yes, it's because there are some who come and join and others don't. Those who are true fandom fans who have been with us all the way through, like they're real fans. But there are those who come in, some will change and some go down the wrong path and they become shells of their former selves. Some people thought I was one of the worst in the fandom. That is not true because I've spent the last 5.5, close to 5 years now, fighting to clear my name out of this. I'm just a good lad and people are respecting and remembering who I was, as the real Kane fan and not the one everybody else disliked, because my real life and my social life clashed during our darkest period. And I have been redeemed and I am, remorseful and regretful. Like I said before, I know with time some people will come back and it's a good thing. And again, Conductor bringing me back into the whole thing that he did was a blessing. I didn't think that would happen. It was the first redeemable thing I claimed back in. But there were others who just won't, because some just will not, quote unquote, Conductor, as I'm just saying, won't let go of my past mistakes, which I have totally been, not all weren't that my flawed, you know what I mean? I wasn't completely blamed for all the things that had happened. And that's what people still pit me on still. I've done my bit of the whole thing and I've, come to light, that not everything was my downfall, but I did have some flaws,
Yeah.
I agree, and it's we gotta move on from our past. What matters is the future.
Yeah.
I tried
future
moving on
of our
from my
lives at the
past,
moment.
but it still keeps on haunting me.
It's okay, Tommy. Like I said, all I'm doing at this moment, Conductor, I'm in this stage, I'm just going to say this quickly before we continue on, before we end up ranting our heads off again. I'm just in this stage now in my life where I'm actually, at peace with myself. Like, I just want everything to be, everything to be as it was, but just much better and improved. But there are just so many who I've lost contact with. And then there were some who were with me in the original Led Test team who just, who I won't say because of obvious reasons, who wanted it to end so badly they just wanted to get back and be better and improved. Because the drumming was, tiresome, boring, and it just got to that point where no one cares anymore. What was done, and if people can change their ways back and improve, they can. It's not like in this day and age where people say, "Oh, what you did back then," like, "Oh, the what happened to me in 2020 and 2021, that was all long gone and buried." Doesn't mean I'm not a bad guy forever.
Yeah.
People can change and for the best, but some do it for the sake of it, just to be desperate. I did it the right way by taking time as best I could, and I've been showing just how much of a cool and good man I can be. I've opened up as emotional. I'm easy to cry on. I'm easy to express my opinions. And, I'm not being like I was. Other people just wanted my reaction just because they wanted it. They could tell that, that I'm a good lad, and and I just feel like I just want to forgive and forget everybody that I felt like I may have wronged, because in truth, we cannot stay cross with each other, because honestly, when I look back on everything, even during my own drama, as you might remember, I feel like everybody was hurting one another, and we all took it out on each other during a time of survival, during the pandemic and all the other stuff that made life miserable for us.
I agree, and
Yep.
this reminds me of someone named Troublesome Thomas.
Oh, that individual. Yep.
That
Yeah.
individual, I think I know who you're referring to, and it's not the,
Yeah,
but
the
don't,
one
but
guy.
who?
That one guy who made that one series.
You
Sudden
mean
conflict.
Yeah.
Serial Conflict? Don't know who that dude is.
Yeah, he was a YouTuber.
You're not referring to Boscher, right?
No, I'm referring to someone else.
Oh, because Bosch was one of the worst guys. I mean, he's come back recently, and it still don't justify his way. He's been very apologetic, but a lot of guys compared me to him, which they did do to take the piss on me. But that stopped all by itself afterwards. I mean, that was a bit of an insult. And everyone who you will say, when I asked them, am I just like him? People said, you're absolutely nothing like Bosher Kane fan. You're nothing like that guy, not in the slightest. Everyone said the same thing. And yet everybody out there were others who thought I was just as worse as he was. But
People
that's
are
not true.
people are capable of change.
Yes, we can change. I mean, hell, I've survived COVID twice. I mean, hell, I had to change because obviously what went down in May 2020, as you know, had to, because I had to leave the world behind and had to reinvent myself, even though it wasn't for the best. It's what kept my sanity in. And I know I said things I shouldn't have, but what could we do? There was a lot of bad stuff going on, uncertainty and fear, and people were reacting as they did because we had to. And, you know, I've explained my side of things many, many, many times. But since the summer of 2022, that's when my salvation in humanity, quote unquote, began. And I'm just reaching out better than I ever have done. And I just feel like there are those who I felt like who may have wronged me, deserve to be forgiven. And it's like others just don't. Some just don't want to go back to me because they're in fear of me. They don't trust me. They think I'm as bad as I ever have done because of the whole thing regarding racial homophobia and the other accusers I've had to deal with, that I'm just as dangerous, and I'm not. I've
It's not
explained. I've
it's not right,
explained.
you know?
I know I've explained multiple times, and it's only been since this year beginning, since Christmas, last Christmas, and into where we are now. All the fans who remembered me from 10 years ago came back. They still remembered. They loved it. Others on Discord are honored to see me. They love to talk to me, and I really do feel like I've reached that point where I have come back better and I'm redeemable. But it's my turn now to say, like, look, let's just talk it out. Let's just put it all aside. What was done was, because we were in an unpredictable time period where there was a lot of bad, but how to deal with it was out of our hands. What we did was there, but there was a lot of mistakes that we can't be forgiven for, and there was a lot of wrong that literally had tarnished some reputation of people, mine included, but I've rebuilt better than ever. But the
Yeah.
main thing is nowadays, since we've come out of the pandemic and other things have been going on, I do feel like railroad fanning has definitely taken, it's been
Turn
really
for the
good.
worst.
Not
A
turn for the
different-
worst, but I mean, train enthusiasm in terms of steam engines and whatnot and everything has gotten even better. Like, it's more enjoyable than ever. But there are those who are basically now starting to show that, like with this one, especially what we saw with Sebastian Young a couple of years back, and of course now with this individual who caused the BNSF Harbor clash. This is right, and of course what happened in Mexico with that steam Canadian Pacific that had crashed with somebody and killed someone. It's making me raise serious questions of what should happen, with modern day people who use their current phones or whatever just to want to get a moment calls, when really safety is the ultimate prime in terms of railroad safety, regardless of what we're in. Safety must be taken seriously, and don't be too, and people in the railroading community should not be, you know, social media jerks or wanting to capture their moment of fame without realizing the dangers you could put yourself into, because obviously that's disrespecting the railroad safety and of course endangering those on board trains, as well as the driver and firemen, as well as those who are actually working on it for a career. I understand people can train spots. That's fine. It's cool and everything. But the way things are now, in this day and age, ever since coming out in the beginning of the 2020s and nowadays, I feel like it needs to take a step back. New rules and implication must be added in so that we can get, so work can continue running on as clockwork. But the way things are in the United Kingdom and the way things are going on in America, and I'm not talking political batshit wise, you get my drift. That's the
Right.
problem. That's the ultimate. There's more to life than just other things that are putting us into current turmoil. It's the railroad safety thing that definitely needs to be changed. Like, I know Amtrak has got a bad history, but they need to also upgrade their things, because I know for a fact people are wanting to bring back some railroads back for future steams and possible future, jobs that could happen that could make railroading greater than it ever has been. You
I
know,
completely agree. And this is off topic, but this year also marks 24 years at Tadmor.
yes, it is. It's definitely true. Ugh. Mm.
And oh, sorry, am I being a?
That's fine, conductor. Honestly, look, the next time I'll be free about this point, maybe later tonight or so, I might pop in on Discord and then we can all get together, and then eventually, if you want to, we can have our discussion afterwards later on. But in any cases, again, it's good that you came back and popped in, and so like I said, I'm actually having a good year. I mean, 2024 has been emotional for a lot of good reasons,
Yeah,
but it's just at the peak of the summer now where everything is just, and a lot of my friends who were with me did say, regarding to time and whatever it is, you will get some people that might return back. And I didn't lose a lot, to be honest. I did lose a lot from my older fan base, but those who were very close didn't leave me. Like Victor Tanzik had never left me. I mean, hell, even Liz briefly spoke to me on prior to Christmas, but wasn't convinced I'd changed enough during my exile. And
but
I'm
you have
thinking, how am I
changed.
going to?
But
I
you have
just want her to be. I have, but I was shocked that she spoke to me briefly. I just needed to convince her. So there's got to be some way I've got to, because I'm just read at this point in this at this point at this. Well, hang on, let me rephrase that because I'm slipping here. I'm just at the stage now where I'm just reaching out, like we're doing here. We talk things out, and how should we ever go about it, never to go again, and then just move on from there and just start from the ground up and be better. And that's all I'm doing, because right now I'm in the stage of healing, and I want to help others heal out so we can all get back together. I mean, we can't go back to the same way as things have been before, but I do want to do what's right for others, because we're all getting older, and that's what we're changing too. We're not like the enthusiasts like we were prior to what had gone down that really screwed us all up.
Yeah, the
So
pandemic.
that's all I want to do. It's time to forgive one another, because we all screwed up during the last couple of years. We've all done things we never intended to do because everything was unintentional. Like I said that again, unintentional. And because if I'd done the things I were doing, I wouldn't be here talking with you guys.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just want to forgive and forget and just make up, because I want to do it single handedly, with one on one people, like one stage at a time. And that's the current stage I'm in. So that, conductor, is something we're going to have to do.
Yeah, and Yeah,
There's
Brandon, and my OC name is Brandon Brenner.
Brandon Brenner. That's really cool, man. So there's two Brandons now. One who's from Canada, and one who's we're here right now. So I have two Brands I'm now I'm befriending.
Yeah, my real name's not really Brandon. It's a mystery. I just use it as an OC name.
Oh, I get you. I get you. Sorry, Tom, if I left you out there for a second. I didn't know you were there. But in any cases, we'll discuss this at a later time. And for those of you viewers that were wondering right now and watching, just ignore all that because that was just between me and him. Anyways, T Crash has popped in. Hey there, my friend. Welcome back.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Greetings, T Crash.
What's up, buddy?
Like I said, we're going to go back to what we just said now. And this is going to be absolutely robusted again because obviously I had to cut the share screen out because obviously I could hear you guys better. So now let's just go back again and start what we did there because everybody definitely was paying attention to that. Here we go. Back to the individual who caused the BSF crash again, and I was just completely ranting about it. It reminds me so much of what Sebastian De Jong could have done, and I don't know if he's getting any better. Like I know you said T Crash, you made some good points in the chat, but I don't know if he's capable of doing this. But at the same time, people in the comments and the below have said this is even worse than what he could have done. But it gives you the impression of what could have happened had he done so, and that's the fear I have for a lot of younger road enthusiasts who want to be there at trackside with their camera just to quote entertain their audience. I totally understand people can do that, but you have to do it the right way and not doing it like, with the lack of no common sense and just thinking, oh, it's going to be good for fun and just this is how you do it, whatever, but without a supervisor with you. But this is basically railroad toxic enthusiasm. And worse, it's not just trespassing, it's also a case of classic vandalism. That's the word I was looking for.
Indeed, like
Well,
this is not real fan behavior. This is what we in America, I don't know if over there in the UK they have a word for it, but this is prime foamer behavior, as we would say.
If we have a UK variation for it, we might find out, but it may not be too far from it. Anyways.
Sending shock waves through the tranquil town.
Wait, sending shock waves through the station town? Dude, you're stuttering and you're using over-the-top rope maneuvers. Basically, that is just not right. So you can definitely tell you screwed up there, pal. And you're basically laying key factors that you did this. There's so many red flags. That was one of them right there.
The way he's talking.
I'm surprised that the authorities haven't watched this, but if they have, then they could obviously have all the evidence they need to not just jail time this real fan SOB, but to
he's already in jail now.
Yeah, in jail, but we haven't heard like the interrogations. You know what I mean? When they hear when you put them in question. You know what I mean? We haven't heard the interrogations. You know what I mean? Like inside when they question, blah blah blah. We've not heard any of that. And then we can see how we would react. Like we see this before with many criminals, if you know what I'm saying. So we should actually hear their thing. We should hear the recordings from the interrogations, so we can get a full detail of what happened after he was, officially dealt with.
Yep.
Or taken to court as well. Slapping behind. Just interrogating and then being charged, but they should take him to a court plea case and play this whole footage.
I bet he's gonna be ending up like other YouTubers ending up in jail for clout chasers like that.
Yeah, like there were those who like from what we're told, he could last about 12 to 14 years, from what we know.
Well, we know it could be 20 years.
The collision raises the questions about how such a routine journey can turn perilous and what.
Right, I'm gonna go now. See you later.
Okay then, conductor. Nice to see you.
Nice seeing you too.
Come back whenever you need to.
Okay, thanks.
I'll have a good. Yep, that is true. He makes a good point there. Definitely.
Very much so. But by the way he's talking, you'd think he witnessed the East Palestine derailment.
He may have done, but never took it too seriously. Brush disaster. Jesus Christ. When you watch the footage, it does look dramatic, but not very dramatic enough when you see the flying kipper or James's crash at Marin or even the other disaster that happened in reality. This was just, just be glad there wasn't anything else besides this.
Yep.
Now with all that good stuff out of the way,
Wait, all that good stuff out of the way? Okay, that is a lack of due care and sick in the head.
sit back, relax, and enjoy today's video.
Wait, sit
Bro,
back and relax
What
and
the
enjoy
fuck?
the video.
Like, you're
What the
telling us
fuck,
to
dude?
relax watching this shit? Yo, you're fucked up in the head, you... I'm still gonna say this, you white supremacist
I know.
bitch.
Well, we don't know if he's white or black or whatever the case may be there, Tony Man, honestly. But just listen to that. That bit really gets under my skin a lot. Just listen to that.
And enjoy today's video.
Just listen to this. This is the
Bro,
bit I found that was sick.
yo.
It does show a complete lack of care for human life. I mean,
I mean, everybody else in the video would have
with
seen
modern
this.
society as today.
That's the thing about coming out of the pandemic. Modern day society for road fanning has dropped too badly.
Sit back, relax.
Sit back and
enjoy
relax into
today's
the video. What the fuck, dude? Honestly, God, if that'd been me, I would have knocked this dude's lights out. It's just sickening, man. This is not for fun. And look at this. I mean, here we go.
Oh, this is the moment. This is the moment.
Yeah, it looks dramatic. It does look dramatic, but not as you would think. If it was a steam engine, then it would have been worse.
What, on a boiler explosion?
Yeah.
an impact like that probably wouldn't have caused a boiler explosion. I mean,
If it was going quite fast, then yes.
yeah, probably, but
And listen to what he said. He says, like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my Jesus God, or whatever. It's not serious. He is literally just acting.
and he said it before the impact. Actually, if you watch the video, he starts screaming before the engine even hits the switch.
He's basically acting, oh my God, whatever. Oh, they okay? Dude, they not be okay after you set that piece up, you son of a bitch. Honestly, it's all an act. He's basically acting as if nothing just happened. He barely set it all up. We know that this is
Actually,
an
I
act.
think he was being legit railed for this. Being a dumbass, he had no idea for common sense.
If this had been me, I would have instantly ran up. If that had been me behind there, I would have just ran up instantly. Not say, oh my God, whatever. This is all just dramatic, as he's saying, like I said. See, that does look serious, but it's not what you think.
The thing that gets me is he starts screaming, "Oh my God!" before the crash even happens. The engine hadn't even really entered the siding at that point.
As if he knew what was going to happen, and he did. He legit set it up, and he knew what was going to happen. He could have been killed if that hit too hard.
Okay, so this Arbor just hit a defective car, apparently, and is now on the ground.
Apparently now on the ground. Dude, are you blind? It is on the ground. Rails are on the ground, you dipshit. This could have been a whole lot worse if this had been like a major train incident going at high speed.
It does look like.
It doesn't even look that bad either. If it had been tipped on its side or crashed into the grain out of everything, then yeah, that would look very serious.
A few of the cars do look like they're on the ground, and the
They are,
lead
they
locomotive
but
is
they haven't tipped
definitely-
over. But they've not tipped over, if you get it. So how can it
Yeah.
be that serious?
See them jumbling.
Switch was thrown wrong. It looks like they hit a derail or something.
Wait, here,
Derail? What the
derail?
fuck?
Dude, there's no derailment. The tracks are basically intact.
I've never heard of a crew putting down a portable derailleur for a bad order car.
Right in.
The whole CCTV caught this guy who knew what he was doing before the event even happened as well, so he was screwed from the get-go without realizing it.
Yo.
Oh my gosh, this is insane.
Oh my God, this is insane. Dude, over the top reaction. That is not insane. I've seen crashes far worse than this. Oh, good Lord. As Gordon the Big Blue Engine would say, oh, the indignity. This is double the indignity.
Or he might say, disgraceful.
Yeah, indeed.
Disgraceful.
Even-
Disgusting. Despicable.
I don't even remember. Oh, I don't even remember anybody did that once back in the mid 2000s, Oliver. I don't even remember that. Don't remember. Oh, that one, yes, but I don't even remember that happening for real. I'll have to look that up later on. Oh, okay, so that's not as serious.
So what now?
Yes, I am a cool dude. I've always been that way ever since, yes. Anyways, it just doesn't seem right. Rail fan like this should not behave. Like, this doesn't even look as bad. The trucks are still
The hopper car.
Yeah, basically, the hoppers are still upright. They haven't tingled over. They're just derailed. They can easily be put back on the tracks afterwards, but still, this could have been a lot worse than you might think.
Do Americans even have the breakdown crane?
Nowadays, mostly we use jacks and forklifts. Well, forklift-like things. I don't know the proper name for them, but things like that to lift cars back onto the track.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Look at that derailment.
Yeah, I know. It's a long derailment, but at least none of the cars had flipped over, then it would have been a lot worse. I'm telling you.
It's pretty much like similar to the troublesome trucks. Take for example that one episode from season 6, "The World's Strongest Engine," where Henry
Oh, yeah.
extremely derailed.
That's kind of that's one of my favorite episodes as well.
Look at this bitch just rolling by as if he thinks nothing would have happened. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna walk away. Like I didn't do this, except it's my
And
fault.
then comes back again. He's been around here many times, so he knows what he was doing here. Obviously, it's clear. If you watch the video from August the Duck and of course History in the Dark, it gives you an idea. Like I said before, there's many guys like that. There's his channel right there now. If you ever want to check it out, that's the bit there. Right when I discovered it last week, and there's Mr. Duck's video as well from 3 days ago. If you want to check it out. It's true, he derailed it just for the viewers. That goes to show the dangerous and deadly thing that modern day rail fans can do. See, and even all of these comments down below explain just how bad he is.
Yep.
This was all 3 months back, and everybody else are just recently picking up on it. That's insane to me.
Look at all the coppers.
This could have been a lot worse, but still, this is a deadly example of what modern rail fans are doing, all for the sake of wanting to get their moments on fame and just to entertain for the viewers. This is not entertaining.
Cloud chasers. There's something wrong with them.
Yeah,
Like,
this
so
is not
addicted with
entertaining
some
at all.
drug.
This is disgusting. This is literally why modern rail fanning is suffering, and why a lot of railroad fans don't like modern day rail fans next to the track. So there's a big
Yeah.
case to fill in that one.
And it gives the rest of us a very bad name because now, with shit like this, forget my language,
It's all right, dude.
railroaders are going to just start thinking, well, anyone near the tracks is going to be some nut job like this who's going to derail a train.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
As long as you don't fiddle around and do something stupid, taking your tripod and camera and then knowing what you're going to do, that definitely is not the way to do about it. Just stay there and watch trains coming past and whatnot, and you'll be fine.
You know, come to think of rail fanning or probably filming trains, why don't you just use, like, you know, we have a feature of zooming instead of going near the tracks?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
there are some good train fans. Like I said, there are some good rail train fans who know when they like just, stand near the tracks and not too far, which is good. But I've heard some unbelievable, rail fan stories that are unbelievable that you would think is not humanly possible, let alone, like I said, and it's basically, as I say, railroad harassment as well. I mean, there are some, like, if you sit there and watch them coming past, if you watch trains from a nearby thing, that's A-okay. That's basically just watching them going by and doing their thing. But don't do it when you're too close and in a dangerous situation, that can actually lead to catastrophe.
if there's one Thomas YouTuber who can actually give that advice. I did recall NWR 1991's Northwestern Railway Tales, that Emily episode with dealing with trespasser, and there's that moral message that she gave, which was that.
I remember that. That's one of my favorites. NWR 91 did about Emily and the Trespasser, and then there's that one called The Raw Enthusiast that Oliver had to take care of. So yeah, they're all based on real life events. So again, it does work. Even in the Thomas universe, people are educated and learned about rail safety, and you see those who just basically just root it for the sake of the fun because they want their moments of shot and disregarding safety regulations. And we
Even
always
Christopher
warn them.
Audrey's books like that.
Yeah, like everybody argues and tells the rules are there. They're easy to follow. But again, there are those who are too stupid, full of their fancy passion of wanting something because I get it. It's exciting. I get that, but not to the most insane childhood style where your mental illness or any other influence you might be high on or whatever to play their part. That does not justify what they do. I get it. If they want to get it for the sake of the adrenaline and fun thing, I understand that. But still, this is completely different. Wanting to cause a derailment, a disaster that could have effectively killed the crew on this train and anything else, endangering the people around, that's not true rail fanning. That is legit rail criminality, and of course, as I said before, rail murder attempt. That's what it is. And that's why I think this guy was. Look, I may be jumping to conclusions, but that's what I think this guy technically was doing. And all for the sake of viewers, that's legit sick in the head. And it's not the first time we've seen YouTubers do this. Not just on railroading, but other things are far worse than this. But this goes right up to it.
Yep. I'm actually wondering about the crew's safety. Like, are the crews in the engine all right?
I think they are, but they didn't hit too hard.
I heard, at least from what I've heard, the engineer and the conductor on the train did sustain minor injuries from the impact. Because if I remember right, the story was that the engineer got thrown into the control panel because, well, they didn't have time to see anything because the car was right there in front of the switch. So as soon as the engine turned, there was practically no time to dump the air.
Well, basically, I'll just be glad they weren't killed in, so they were lucky to be alive. But still, it goes to show the deadly consequences of what rail fans setting up this just for the sake of shocking entertainment for viewers can do by disregarding the lives on those who are actually working for a living. This is what would happen. And they'll just do anything. They'll do, like, whoever the guy in question was, who was age 17, who was when he was interrogated, if we have. I know it's not ideal, but I still believe that this individual should, have his interrogation revealed so we can learn and understand why he did it. Because if we're not told, then we don't know the motivation. You know what I'm trying to get at, right?
Yeah.
Just because we're told, oh, he was caught in queues and then he got slapped and then, sent into prison, and that's it, end of story. That's not how it goes. We need to get the actual story of his side of it and learn, who the guy was, his background and all, and everything else that could lead up to the whole thing that just happened. And this could be a big, big severe warning to all future YouTube users and rail fans combined to not do this ever again, because this should be a major criminality offense. It's not like a warning. Like, if you do this, then you're done. That's why there's many rail fans out there who are just doing it for the sake of fun when they're endangering the railroaders out there who are actually doing their thing for a living and for their own passion. Yeah. But it does worry me for the sake of rail safety for steam engines, who love steam enthusiasm. That's what worries me, and the reason why I'm acting this way. Because, just think of this. If that had been 4501 or SP 4449 or 611 or, or any other American engine out there on the main line, and that happened, that would definitely be a big cause for concern.
Ugh.
That's what you see what I'm trying to get at?
Yeah. If that had been any type of excursion train, that would have been very bad because not only damage to the locomotive, but, it would have been hauling passengers, unless of course it
Oh
was just a
Christ!
ferry move. But either way,
That's what I mean. Freight train accidents is one thing, but to have it for passenger training and that's endangering that would be endangering those in the carriages. That's another problem. You know what I'm saying? Ugh.
yeah, and plus the diesel, at least it has some amenities to protect the crew. Back when engines like 4501 were built, the attitude was, "You're injured? Good, get back to work."
Yeah, I get you. I get you on that one.
Christ. I'm often like wondering like about the hopper car. Did he just move it? I'm just wondering how the hell did he just move it, or was he trying to switch the points like that?
That's what he did. The guy in question literally tampered with the pointing. The crate car thing was already there.
What had happened was the car had a hot box on one of the wheels. I think that was what would happen. The bearing locked up. They set the car out on the siding for the yard crew to come back and get. And the car was in the middle of the train. This is the big thing. He said that the crew left the switch unaligned, but that is impossible because they cut the train in half, moved that car into the siding, came back out, backed up, coupled to the rest of the train, and then continued on. How could they forget the switch was unaligned if they would have had to have thrown it back to the normal position to get the rest of their train? It would have literally meant that they would have had to have reopened the switch for no reason at all.
And I'm telling you, if Sebastian, like I said, if Sebastian Daiso, whatever his name was, if Sebastian De Jong had done this, just imagine what would have happened. And I'm pretty sure if he's seen this video, I'm sure he would have changed his mind to never do this again. Or he probably would have tried to one up this dude. Because I've seen what he's done. Like, there's that infamous one where he was messing with the BNSF railway track on the switch thing, which was the one he was known for doing. And there's another YouTube user who's made a channel a few years ago called Sebastian Yide Exposed, and when he was actually on board a BNSF diesel and fiddling with the controls and everything else, and he said he didn't know what he was doing, and he was still doing it anyway. That's the classic deadly thing of what a rail fan should never be doing when you're trespassing on railway footaging. Even there's one other guy named Trains of Southwood, Michigan. He was kicked out for rail fanning. Yeah, don't trespass on something that you shouldn't be doing unless you know. And of course, like I said, it's still being ranted about still, you know. And even Railfan has been shown for trespassing for illegal use on RR equipment. And just because he's bloody autistic, like I'm autistic too, that does not justify what he's doing. He's basically, you know, like everybody else would, but going against the rules and think it could all be fun. You know, big railways, trains, and everything else, they're not toys. They are real breathing machines that are there to work, not to be playing around with. And I totally understand, you know, the whole thing about, you know, they like to push buttons and do all this and that. But this is not right at all, because people won't understand that what's right and wrong, and doing the wrong is as if it's okay for us. Like, I'm going a bit, you know, cuckoo here, but honestly, it does piss me off. I mean, hell, if you saw me, I would have done it with permission, or by respecting rail safety. Like I said before, it does worry me with the modern day of railroad enthusiasts, and I don't care if they're young or underage. Safety has to be looked upon, and you know, wherever they go, they should be watched at all times. Like, I'm not trying to say spied on, but just for keep safety for the railroads out there on the main line, because you never know what could be out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's why crews nowadays are so nervous about when they see people fueling by the tracks. I mean, I know at TVRM, when I've done my cab rides, when they're coming into the station, you can tell the crew gets tense because you never know if someone's going to just dart out in front of the train to try to get a picture or what. And unfortunately, I've actually seen that happen before.
Oh boy.
And then also the whole fiasco with 2816, wasn't it? 28.
Yes, it was the one that came down from Mexico, that Canadian engine I was telling you about. Yeah, hopefully that will never. I just don't want that to never happen ever again, and then for the best, because No offense to those down there in the other side of the border, but those rail fans just absolutely flawed rail fan community, and it should never have happened. And heck, even History in the Dark, when you watch his video, it's batshit insane. I'm not saying it's funny, but his reactioning kind of sparked exactly how we felt.
Yeah, I mean, there's no picture or no video is worth getting yourself killed for. I mean, like,
And there was one guy who tried to hop on the train while it was on the move. That's the insanity. All because they want to do it in front of the camera and, hey, watch this. It's not fun. It's serious. Don't try and do that with Monday trains or steam trains or whatever. You're basically asking for death on the rails. And you can't blame the crew for that because it's not intentional. It's basically people almost want to commit stupid rail suicide or whatever it is, or just stupidity to get their moments of fame only to end in being deceased. You know, and if that's how they want to go about it, then our attitude is like, don't say we warned you. You know, it'd be like ultimate dark justice. Now, I know that sounds a bit dark on my behalf, but that would be the attitude I'd be if I was buying an engine. If they don't heed the warning or whatever, then boom, you're gonna get crushed under the engine's weight. You know.
well, it's like this engineer in this documentary I watched once said, told this new engineer, one day it will be that you will come across a grade crossing accident. It doesn't matter how many times you blow the whistle. It doesn't matter how hard you hit the brakes. When it happens, it's going to happen, and there's not a thing you can do about it. And you will search your soul to know whether it was your fault or not for not giving a warning. And that's the saddest thing about it is it can be the other person's fault, but the crew has to live with it for the rest of their lives that they were operating the locomotive when the accident occurred.
Well, if they ever wanted to, they could just brush it off, just drink amounts of booze if they have to get out of their system and don't live with the guilt trip. That's how you counter it. If it was someone dangerous, if he had a criminal or on the run or whatever, don't be blameful about it. You know what I mean? Look, I know I'm saying a bit silly with what I'm saying now, but this is me sounding a little vigilante, like Batman vigilante almost on wheels. Anyways, there's a nerd channel here called Sebastian Young Exposed, and this guy's had all the 9 videos uploaded again. And this guy, whoever is in question, it's dedicated to hoping that what he was doing by exposing what Sebastian's crimes were doing. Huh. At least this guy knew what he was doing for the best. And you can watch them all in. They're all re-uploaded. All 8 videos are uploaded, and I've watched all of them, and they are horrible. Now, I don't know if he knows this, but if he did, then he knows he's screwed up. There's even one video of him doxing himself. And that's even worse. Trust me, that's even far worse.
How the hell?
Here, look, I'll just put it in the private chat so you guys can see what I mean.
Sometimes the incompetence of some people really does surprise me. Like with this video, with the things that other people have done. Like, if you can't respect the railroad for what it is, that these are not toys, just stay home, play with a model train, or get online and play with a simulation if you can't realize that these things are massive machines that they cannot stop on a dime, and when they derail, it's going to take hours to clean up, days to fix, and it's like playing with fire.
And there's an old saying, if you play with fire, you will get burned.
Yep.
I mean, I've had the privilege of operating a locomotive a couple times, even a steam locomotive before, and I will say it is not as easy as you would assume, especially when stopping.
Well, I've done it before once. I've been on the Flying Scotsman a couple of times, and I've always respected, the crew. They're very, very respectful. And I've actually been in the driver's cab a couple of times, and I've even shoveled in coal because I know how to do it professionally, despite how little I was back then. I did have quite strong arm strength. What made the crew so impressed with me was my knowledge, because I used to drive train simulator, not the trains that we're familiar with now, but I'm talking about the very, very old ones from 2003 and 4, whatever it was. Because I drove Flying Scotsman on the simulation. That's how I learned how to drive an engine. And I sat in, pointed all the controls, what was this and what was that and what's it used for. And the driver in question, who was very experienced, was so impressed, and he was joking because I could get what he was saying. He said to my dad, your son is so intelligent with the Flying Scotsman, and he knows all the controls and what they were meant to be used for, whatever. He's that very good about it. He might as well drive the engine from York to Scarborough and back. And it was just a joke, but I was quite, humble with what he said, but I wouldn't drive the actual thing. But I would love to have done if I had the experience and actually wanted to do it if I got older. But, the whole thing with shoveling coal and everything, that was even more fun. Because obviously, I was very good about it. He was in 2003, they did it once for special occasions if they wanted to. But this guy in question, the driver was so good, he actually said, "Why don't you do it twice, mate? Let's see it again." Because he didn't see me do it the first time around. He wanted, and he was that good, and that's what happened. And nobody else on the passengers got to do that besides me. True story, man.
Wow.
True story.
Awesome.
Despite the fact that heating Flying Scotsman was unbearable, but the fact was it was a rainy day and it was cold, but it warmed me up quite nicely. And the fire was easy enough for me just to peek in to see how the flames were dancing inside, and it was nice. It was really, really lovely. I mean, I can understand people have changed now because Scotsman's gotten older and people have been harassing it with trespassing and others will be careful. I get it. And I respect that. It's just, because I've gotten older myself, because I respect the locomotive for what it is. Because, that's just me. But it worries me because we've had trespassers doing it with Scotsmen in near level crossings in other parts of the country, and it still happens, except Scotsman's got like a camera thing at its front that will capture trespassers who are too close to the line and they could get them. But it does worry me because if this continues onwards, I always worry it will actually be a threat to modern day railroading of enthusiasms, who like trains but just put the safety rule out the window. They get close, they just want to get as possible, all for the sake of either a bloody photograph or just get a few seconds of the train coming through to experience that power. Like, look at what happened to UP844 when the guy got too close to the line in question and paid the price. And it happened again with that Canadian Pacific engine I told you about, T-Crash. And I'm thinking to myself, if this happens a third time around, just imagine the outcry of the railway public. That would be disastrous. They've already had the 2 strikes now, and if it's a third time around, I've got a bad feeling that railway planning could end at any time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a issue because already steam locomotives operating there's already a sense of liability to it with just the fact of the crowds that get drawn out by it. But like back in the 80s when the big Gettysburg explosion happened with the Canadian National Locomotive, that nearly ended steam locomotives operating in America. I mean, another major incident like that could honestly be the death knell for any steam locomotives operating in preservation. Because the NTSB can easily say, or the FRA, I should say, could easily say that steam locomotives are simply too much of a liability to keep operating.
That is definitely true. Like I said, there's one comment here from Sodor Brony in the video that Kowsko just sent to me on TBS 32 Returns video he did the day before, saying that, PSA on railway safety is really good, but the railway is not a playground, and that's the true thing. Railroads are not to be played with. It's not like a mini model railway on a bigger scale. Ugh. I can only imagine what would happen, like, if a whole family had brought the rules and everything about that. Just imagine that would be even worse. I understand we all love trains and we're all enthusiastic about it. That's good. We need something to be enthusiastic about, but there are those who take it too far ahead. I mean, heck, if you watch Victor Tanzik's episode that he did, that was a classic classic example of stupid enthusiasts who just take photos and everything else, who are just, who always rely on luck to avoid shenanigans.
Yeah, that
That guy and the guy
that
doing
episode.
Question Halifax paid the price, and to be honest, it was a good thing he got what was coming. And I just kind of had a little bit of a smirk on my face. And if that happened today's time, people just use social media and use toxic frenzy to blame railroad crews and whatnot. But as far as I'm concerned, if daft enthusiasts, endanger themselves and everything else, then they pay the price for it. No one should be blamed. It's just, a serious, deadly lesson. Because, like,
Yeah,
again, as I said before, railroads are not a fun place to be at. It's not always, and it's definitely no playground either. We always have these safety learns and these videos shown of what could happen if you don't survive. Like, it's always the youth or those who think they're above everything else who pay the price for it, and look at what happens.
Yep.
It's almost like it's allowable to happen, but it's not. So I think to end this up, guys, I feel like super strict rules on railroading in both America and in the UK and elsewhere in the world need to be upgraded in order to protect railroaders for their jobs and for the paying public who want to travel and for those who want to do tourism. That they need that. They need to be aware that there are those who are just willing to break it, endangering their own lives, not putting safety first, which could spell the end of railroad enthusiasm. And I feel like that's what we could be facing with.
yeah.
So again,
Well,
T Crash and Tommy, I want you guys to wrap your thoughts up about this before I end it anyway. So do you guys want to put your final thoughts about this reaction video that we just watched?
I'm still confused at one thing. Nowadays, all the signaling and everything is controlled. I'm sorry, my brain just fogged out for a second. But basically, all the signals are wired to the rails. Like you can think of it like a model train. And if there's any type of break in the track or anything on the track, it will automatically set the signals to red. The only way that crash could have happened is if he waited until there was another train already in the signal block before he threw the switch, or otherwise the crew should have had a red board. So I honestly want to read the NTSB report when they publish their findings from the investigation, because I want to know how the signals didn't tell the crew there was something wrong ahead.
We do need to know. That's one thing we need to find out. It's not that the fact is that, they got the guy in custody, they've charged him, put him into jail. That's it. No, we need the actual full story of what's going on behind. Then we can paint a much bigger picture of what led up to it. So anyways, back to you.
I have no other thoughts about that. How about you, Tommy Trains?
To me, considering that I've actually seen pretty much, I've also seen the YouTuber commentator Penguin Zero who talked about this. Oh boy, this is going so bad. And apparently, most likely with this, news talking about it, and I also had to watch a news YouTube video on it, and apparently details from what we saw, I was like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, like I keep saying, cloud chasers. There's often a certainty problematic in modern society, as if most likely, when people keep saying the things are going to get better, it's going to sound harsh, but it would seem like I don't think so. And especially considering that there's some predictions about the world's about to end, some shit like that. So, yeah, it's not looking good. That individual put in jail, that's what he gets. And yeah, let's just be mindful. Always have a common sense, most likely. Let's just be smart about this and never be in those fiction stupidities out there. So yeah.
Well then, to put that in perspective, ladies and gentlemen, the streaming reaction has already been done. Again, just want to have one more quick shout out to August the Duck and History in the Dark. I mean, just letting you guys know, because if I hadn't found out about this, I wouldn't be doing this whole thing. So that's to you guys. Again, Tommy Trains, it's good you returned, and I had missed you. And G Crash, it was good that you popped in as well. So again, it was nice for you guys to pop in. And for those of you watching as well, it was good that you came as well and watching this, and some of you putting your opinions about it. And hopefully this will go down as a severe lesson to anybody rail fanning out there, like I said, because everybody else was reporting about this and doing their opinions and reviews or reactions towards it. I felt like I could do it too, just by streaming about it. Anyways, this is KaneFan701. I'm absolutely, enjoying the summer at this point, and I'm still boiling hot despite the fact I've survived it through for about an hour and 35 minutes. Make that 36 minutes in an hour. So that's just about this done and sorted out until I come back again for another one. So take care, lads, and I'll catch you all at another time.
See you then.
Peace, baby.